G'day everyone, Big Aussie Pepper here and welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. Today I am not in my usual flannel jacket shirt, I'm going incognito. I'm sure you couldn't recognize me going red shirt rather than my flannel as I would normally. Because today we are going to be talking about being the grey man. And in the podcast that kind of went along this episode, the podcast episode was actually being the big man. Which is sort of my version of being the grey man, because it's very hard to be the grey man when you are 6'5" and you kind of stand out a little bit. So this one is called being the big / grey man, and yes, in Australia we do spell it B-R-E-Y, not A-Y. So I'm doing the Australian version. Let me zoom in this a little bit. Now, a little introduction here. For the purposes of this info sheet, we will be using the term grey man, but this applies to women and people in general. The basics of being the grey man is to not stand out, to not be indistinct from the next person. So the idea is that you blend in. The best way to begin your grey man journey is to practice watching people. Sounds weird, right? But if you watch people in an area with a lot of foot traffic and see which people stand out, work out why they stand out, and decide what you can do to prevent this attention in yourself. The other part of being grey is to make it harder to track you. This can require you to make actions that seem counter to the outlined, which means you might need to do things which sort of don't match in with everybody else. Below we discuss the specifics of this state of being, the advantages and challenges associated with it, in particular for me, how to achieve this when you're already standing above the crowd. Here we have 7 elements that it takes to become the grey man. Blending in and not standing out, considering the following. Then we will expand on each of these. The first one is clothing, followed by attitude, your physical appearance, your physical mannerisms, different from your physical appearance, minimizing interactions, breaking routines, and online activities. That number 6, breaking routines, is a bit about in regards to not being followed. Number 1, clothing. Observe what others are wearing in your area or where you are traveling to. So if you're traveling to a location and you know they're going to be all wearing winter clothes and you're only person wearing summer clothes, you're going to stand out. Dress appropriate to your weather and event / situation. Don't wear a heavy coat in summer, for example. And that's a good one. Now, I only wear this hat as a bit of a joke for the channel. I don't wear this hat out because one, it'd be very annoying, I think. After a while, I would get mad at these corks. If you're living in Central Australia, though, you might need something like this just to keep the flies off, which is obviously what this is designed for. I do have several other hats. Do I have it handy? I do. I prefer this kind of style of hat a little bit. Very similar to this one, but without the corks and without the bright colouring. Another good example of clothing and where it matters would be if you work in a business district, you'll be expected to wear something like a suit, tie, and shoes. If you're the only person wearing a hoodie and tracksuit pants, then you're going to be the one that stands out. If you do have to work in a business district, I would recommend in your EDC you carry a change of clothes. There are several ways that you can actually roll up your clothes to fit better into your bag and make it easier for you to carry those spare set of clothes. Number 2, attitude. This is about the way that you hold yourself versus how other people, and it's important to consider when trying to blend in. If you're the only one running when everyone else is walking, you're going to stand out. Very similar to clothing, the concept behind here is to be doing what other people are doing. If people are running a marathon and you're riding a bicycle, then you're going to be one standing out. If everyone's doing one type of thing and you're doing something different, once again, that's not going to be good. If you were swept up in some sort of protest or rally, then you would actually want to champion whatever cause they are championing, even if it's something you don't necessarily believe in. The best way to get out of one of those situations, if you found yourself somewhere where you don't want to be, would be to not walk against the flow of the crowd, but to actually walk with it and try and walk across it. Number 3, physical appearance. Some of these you can help, and some of these you can't. Being very tall, having distinctive features, or brightly coloured hair can all be difficult to conceal. But consider covering tattoos, wearing hats or beanies if you would prefer to make it difficult to be identified. Once again, this comes back to me. I actually try and walk a little bit slouched sometimes just to kind of conceal my full height. Although if I'm in a sort of sketchy area, I will actually stand very tall and walk very strongly to improve my physical appearance. Actually, this is me being the big man rather than the grey man. So me actually saying, well, don't come near me because I am big and scary.
But really, he's just a really big soft guy.
No, it's a lie. Don't listen. Get that one out. Number 4, physical mannerisms. As you'll see, some of these have a bit of overlap between your attitude and your physical mannerisms, even your clothing. But physical mannerisms refers to the way that you walk, your gestures, your body language. All of these can give you a distinctive profile that would make you stand out. Have you ever seen someone whose mannerisms didn't seem quite right? They probably stood out a lot. This section is also about walking strong and tall for me, being the big man that I am. I often see people who appear to be under the influence of something, and they often have a very twitchy demeanour, and they don't walk in just a simple straight line with the arms swinging beside the bodies, the hands all over the place, and they appear to be looking in many different directions. Those are kind of things that definitely stand out for me, and you usually spot them from a fair distance away. Number 5 on the list, minimise interactions. Don't be a hero, and don't be the villain either. Don't get involved in other people's issues and don't start problems. Be like the wallflower and don't stand out. If people are getting into an argument and it has nothing to do with you, then don't get involved. Don't jump in. When I say don't be the hero, obviously if you see something that isn't right, you should stand up for that and you should stand against it. But you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. If I'm out with my kids and there's something that looks like it's going to be getting violent, I'm not going to be going over there to try and help sort it out. Minimise interactions also should be part of number 7, online activities. I personally don't use Facebook other than for the purposes of business, so business advertising and communications. But I don't put stuff about my family out online. So once again, that sort of minimising interactions. I don't get involved in internet discussions or arguments, anything like that. Number 6, breaking routines. Do you always buy your coffee from the same place? You always take the same route from point A to point B. These routines are actually bad and can make it easier to track you. So this can actually make you stand out. If you're that one person who has the bright orange jacket and you always buy your coffee from one place, then people are going to start expecting to see you there. And in terms of being the grey man, you'd be better off going to several different places to get your coffee from. In this simple example, when I go to the shopping centre or local plaza, I like to try and park in different spots and try and break up where I'm parking and where I'm going to be walking to and from, which entrance I'm going to be taking. Once again, just to mix things up and make it a bit harder, if someone was tracking me, they wouldn't necessarily know where I was going to be coming from. Finally, number 7, online activities. Don't advertise your life on social media. Avoid posting your location and actions as well. Don't give out your PII, which stands for personally identifiable information. That's things like your name, your address, your phone number. Once it's out there, it's very hard to get back. So kind of like I was saying with number 5, minimizing interactions, you don't want to advertise everything you're doing. I know a lot of people who say, hey, we're going on holidays for 2 weeks, and I'll post that on Facebook. And maybe it's only their friends that can see that, but maybe their friends mention it to someone else. And this comes back to OPSEC or operational security, which is a topic for another podcast. And video, of course, that's for sure. But it's about not giving out all your information. Don't tell everyone what you're doing. Don't tell everyone where you're going. Another little example of that is down here with the stick figures on your car. I think that's a terrible thing to have on your car. For the very simple fact that you go, hey, I see that car. I recognize those stickers. That's the car I saw parked here last week. Someone who is doing security, though, that's actually a very good thing. The other bad thing about it is, look at the example here. If I actually zoom in on this one, we can guess that this person has maybe a father and a mother, and at least 2 kids. You can't see the other one underneath there, and at least 1 dog. Whether the dog is big or small, it's hard to tell. The father's possibly outdoorsy if he likes to barbecue. The kids have different activities. I think the other one, move this to the side, is doing dancing, so maybe they're involved in some activities. So just from that one sticker, you can perhaps guess a lot about the construction of their family, or the structure of their family. So you might know, okay, well, if I'm going to go, rob that place, then I better take some juicy steaks for the dog. Bonuses. Other advertising. Say no to stick family stickers. Sentence doesn't sound right, but I'm going to go with it. You're just giving away your information. Same as before, don't give out your PII. Say no to competitions. You are just giving away your details. So fix up the spelling there on the fly. That's why these videos are good. We can fix these sheets before they go out. What's not really covered here is it's recording. I'm going to edit it out. Hopefully I remember to edit it out. What's not really covered in this document is being the big man. And being the big man is about being compassionate, and it is about, you know, not starting grief with other people, to have a bit of tolerance and understanding for other people, and thinking, well, this person, you know, is acting out of character or out of nature. Perhaps they're having a bad day. I think, what has led this person to this situation that they are behaving like this? And being big man is about giving allowances for those kinds of things as well. Thanks for coming along today and checking out the video. Please, in the comment section down below, tell me what you do to be the grey man in your life. What things have you seen other people do that makes them stand out? I think that'd be a great little discussion to have down in the comment section. So until next time, and as always, if you can't be the grey man, be the big man. See yous. G'day everyone, Big Aussie Prepper here, and welcome back to another episode of the blah 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 blah.